Coming up on today's episode of Airborne-Unlimited. Pilot with engine trouble lands on I-25 in Wyoming. PAL-V passes first periodic inspection. Congress passes gold medal honor for Vietnam Dustoff Crews. Welcome to Airborne Unlimited. I'm your host, Holland Lee. Let's get into today's stories. Pilot with engine trouble lands on I-25 in Wyoming, then fixes and departs. A pilot who was experiencing what he thought was fuel starvation was able to safely land on I-25 about 23 miles north of Cheyenne. The pilot, also an AMP, diagnosed the problem and fixed it with tools he had on hand. Then he continued on his destination in Oregon after departing Scottsbluff, Nebraska earlier in the day. The aircraft first flew to Cheyenne Regional Airport to perform a full inspection before continuing. No further information about the pilot or aircraft was available or given by Wyoming Highway Patrolman Logan Kelly. Kelly, who arrived at the scene and assisted with traffic management as the pilot maneuvered to take off again southbound from the interstate, said that this was a first for him, but that he was just glad it was nothing too serious and that there was a happy ending. Officer Kelly said, quote, "No one has heard of this before outside of an exercise with the Air National Guard or another military branch," end quote. Levi and Kelsey Dotton were driving down I-25 for their daughter's softball game when they saw the airplane overhead directly over the highway. Levi said he thought he was pretty sure it was going to land, so they slowed down and stopped. Then they checked on the pilot to make sure it wasn't a medical situation. After the break, Tyndall AFB evacuates F-35s for incoming storm.
For over 30 years, the massive Sport Plane Resource Guide has provided expert, credible information, evaluations, and critical analysis of all that the sport aviation world has to offer. The all-new digital Sport Plane Resource Guide is coming with extensive multimedia features that are constantly updated, an even more comprehensive online guide to all things sport aviation. Available soon. www.sportplane.com.
I grew up in an aviation family. My dad flew airplanes and flew air shows actually, so ever since I was 3 years old, the only thing I've ever wanted to do was be an air show pilot. It's cliche, but I get to live my dream every single day. I'm currently using the Hartzell Talon, the new aerobatic propeller. It's increased the performance of the airplane. It's made the harmonics balance throughout the airplane so much better. By far the best aerobatic propeller that I've ever flown behind.
The legendary BD4C program is building an exciting future for those who want a rugged four-seat family flyer with a proven history. The SureWings program produces a complete kit and builder assist program that gives you everything you need to be flying a BD4CS in record time. For conventional kit builders, BD Aviation has parts, partial kits, and full kits for the 190-mile-per-hour BD4C that has logged thousands of hours. Visit SureWings.com and BDAviation.com for more details.
Welcome back. Now let's take a trip around the patch for some shorter stories. Tyndall AFB evacuates F-35s for incoming storm. Tyndall Air Force Base hunkered down yesterday for Tropical Storm Helene, which has already become a Category 4 hurricane as of Thursday night. They have temporarily deployed their F-35 fleet to a new base and recommended visitor evacuation. The base declared hurricane condition level 3 on September 24th. This suggests that the storm will bring a, quote, potential threat to Tyndall with destructive winds possible within 48 hours, end quote. The hurricane pounded the Florida Panhandle on September 26th. Whitaker's safety claims spark SpaceX shutdown. In a very recent and very public clash, FAA Administrator Mike Whitaker pulled the safety card to defend SpaceX delays and fines. This statement, made during a September 24th hearing of the House Transportation Committee, has intensified an ongoing spat between the aerospace giant and its regulatory overseers. In the hearing, Representative Kevin Kiley questioned whether the FAA's undue scrutiny on SpaceX was due to public safety concerns. SpaceX fired back with a letter to Kiley rejecting every single one of Whitaker's claims. Southwest investor calls for leadership change. Southwest activist investor Elliott Investment Management revealed its intention to call a special shareholder meeting in the coming weeks. Holding over 10% of the airline stock puts Elliott in a strong position to advocate for the potential ousting of CEO Bob Jordan and other top executives. The carrier has continuously shut down the idea of a leadership change. It believes the current CEO, Bob Jordan, is the right leader to navigate Southwest through its current financial difficulties. Russian aircraft again spotted in U.S. ADIZ. NORAD recently announced that they had tracked 4 Russian military aircraft operating in the Air Defense Identification Zone surrounding Alaska. The incident trails several other Russian military activities in the region this month. NORAD states that the 4 Russian aircraft were detected within the ADIZ. The command clarified that these aircraft did not breach American or Canadian airspace and stated that, quote, "This Russian activity in the Alaska ADIZ occurs regularly and is not seen as a threat," end quote. That's it for today's trip around the patch. Let's get back to the rest of the news. PAL-V passes first periodic inspection. The PAL-V Liberty, the first true FlyDrive vehicle, recently passed its first periodic technical inspection. This milestone comes 4 years after the flying car's official road certification. The vehicle is a 2-seater gyroplane. On the ground, it has an 817-mile range, getting around 37 miles per gallon. After a 5-minute transformation, the PAL-V Liberty turns airworthy and is able to fly for 250 to 310 miles at a time at altitudes up to 11,000 feet. It's powered by 2 Rotax 912IS engines, allowing for speeds up to 100 miles per hour on the road and 112 miles per hour in the air. The PAL-V Liberty achieved European road certification in 2020, allowing it to be driven on public streets. 4 years later, the vehicle's safety and roadworthiness were verified through its first PTI. In Europe, PTIs are required to be held 4 years after a vehicle's initial admission, biannually until it reaches 8 years old, and then annually from then on. The inspection includes several checkups, including brakes, steering, and tires, environmental standards and emissions, and registration. PAL-V will now be working to finalize the Liberty's air certification through a compliance demonstration. This features structure, engines, control, electrical, and performance examinations, along with flight, ground, and simulated tests. After these messages, Congress passes gold medal honor for Vietnam Dustoff Crews.
Well, hello, fellow pilot. I'm John King.
And I'm Martha King.
You know, we've all had our flying lives disrupted lately.
Well, King Schools is here to help you stay up to date with courses that you can access on your desktop, iPad, or iPhone. If you'd like a refresher or just want to expand your aviation horizons, we have a course for you.
So head over to kingschools.com/Rusty today for details.
Looking for a new generation of proven and efficient aviation power plants that boast modern engineering, electronic ignition, and both direct and gear drive systems? With 100 horsepower to 240 horsepower, the Skyline and Redline engines offer uncommon value in an overpriced industry. Whether you are looking for fixed wing or rotor, MW Fly Americas has been established to service the American market with dedication and expertise. MWFlyAmericas.com.
Welcome back. Congress passes gold medal honor for Vietnam Dustoff Crews. Congress has passed the Dustoff Crews of the Vietnam War Congressional Gold Medal Act and is awaiting President Biden's signature to award the approximately 3,400 Dustoff crew members who served between May 1962 through March 1973. For those of a certain age who watched the nightly news coverage about the Vietnam War and daily casualty reports, The term "dustoff" was frequently heard being read by reporters on scene as video of daring rescue operations played on the TV. "Dustoff inbound" was what wounded troops most wanted to hear as they lay waiting for their rescue. For those unfamiliar, a dustoff was when an unarmed UH-1 Huey helicopter air ambulance with a big red cross on the nose came to pick up the wounded to get them to a field hospital within the golden hour, when the chances of survival were greatly increased. The bipartisan bill to award the highest honor Congress can bestow was co-sponsored by Representatives of Washington Derek Kilmer, Democrat, and Kathy McMorris Rogers, Republican. The bill states that Dustoff crews consisting of a pilot, co-pilot, crew chief, and combat medic carried out, quote, rapid medical evacuation and transported almost 900,000 U.S., South Vietnamese, and other allied sick and wounded, end quote. And that's our show for today. You can catch episodes of Airborne on YouTube, Roku, or Fire TV. Just search for Aero-News or Airborne, and don't forget to follow us on social media. Thanks for watching.